Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Mello, and today I'm going to talk about the architecture we have been using to build web applications here at Salt. This architecture that we have been using is based on the concept of vertical slices, and the creator for the vertical slices architecture is Jimmy Bogart, and he says that this architecture encapsulates and groups all the concerns together. That includes front-end and back. In our case, we call it feature slices, which essentially is the same idea, but with a focus on the feature inside an application. So here we group all the code needed to implement a specific feature. We have been using Next.js to build our applications, and why is that a great choice for that? So, Next.js integrates front-end and back-end in a seamless way. And this allows us to put our components and database interactions directly on the server side. And if you use server components, everything will be processed on the server side, which means that the end client will only receive a pre-rendered HTML. To create the routes for our web application, we use the app router from Next.js, which is a file-based routing system. And that means that our routes are structured by folder. And for each feature, we have a basic file structure that includes actions.ts, service.ts, instance.ts, and repository.ts. And of course, this structure can expand depending on the complexity or the size of your application. The actions file contains the server actions, which are asynchronous functions that handles form submissions and data mutations. And in our architecture, we call it transport layer because it's the layer that manages the connection between front-end and back-end. The service layer is the layer that solves problems. In these layers, we have all the business logic. We also separate into imperative shell and functional core. The imperative shell working with the side effects like API calls or everything that interacts to the world. And in the functional core, we have all the pure functions and logic and the validations, and this part is easier to test. The instance file contains our factory function that creates an instance, and this instance acts like a singleton, meaning that only one instance is created in memory and it's shared across the entire application. This behavior is achieved through Next.js because it utilizes these features in this feature in Node.js that caches the file the first time that you import it. So this mimics singleton behavior. It's also here in the instance file that you can pass as an argument the dependencies or methods from another feature. Now about the repository layer. The repository layer is the only one that has direct access to the database, and it handles operations with the database. And we keep it separated from the business logic so we can keep our architecture clean and organized. One of the advantages of this architecture is the teamwork. So you can work in bigger teams and in a better way, like minimizing conflicts and dependence between features. You can also delete a feature without causing a huge conflict on your code, without breaking your code. And that makes it easier to test, easier to maintain, and ready to grow. So thank you for watching this video.